I'm Betty Banjack, and this is Look Who's Cooking. And today our guest is Phifer. Kathy was with us once before. She was one of my first guests way back when. And we often chat. We see each other in the supermarket more than we do anywhere else, it seems. I don't know why that is. But Kathy's going to make a very special dish today. We're going to jump right in there, and we can start, and we can chat as we go along. I'll even leave to you to give us the name of the dish, because you say it so well.
Morning, Betty. This morning I'm going to make osso buco, which is actually veal shanks. Osso buco, literally translated, means hole in the bone. And if you notice, I have some veal shanks with me today. And if you can see that close up, here's the bone. There is some delicious marrow in there that will cook down. But of course, there will be a hole in there once that meat has been consumed. What I've done already, you want to turn that on for me, Betty?
Turn it on.
What I did to save some time is I've already tied the veal shanks with kitchen twine, as you can see. And I've salt and peppered them on both sides. You got it?
Yeah, this is our wonderful burners. They are wonderful, but they're hard to see if they're on.
High-tech cooking equipment.
Yeah, high-tech cooking it.
And I've also floured these, salt and peppered on either side and floured them. So they're all set to go. What I have prepared for me.
Absolutely great, isn't it?
Yes. Most butchers, you can get them readily available. I always, if I know I'm going to make it, I call in advance to make sure it's ready. Into my pot, I'm going to put a half a cup butter, or a half a stick butter.
Now you can get this most of the time. You can get this at your local market, right?
That's correct.
But the butcher would do a real nice job for you.
Yes,
probably.
and actually you can even ask them to tie them for you, so that it will save you even more time.
When you tie that, did you mention this when I was so busy putting the stove on about make sure you use cotton string?
Make sure you use cotton. One, because it's easier to tie.
You're going to have plastic covers. Osso buco.
So I'm melting my butter, and in the saucepan goes, Betty, I don't have my glasses,
Oh,
2
okay.
cups
We have butter. We
finely
need 2
chopped.
cups of fine chopped onions. Then we have 3/4 of a cup of chopped carrots.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a wonderful, wonderful gadget that juliennes everything just by going like this with it. I immediately am sending for one because I hate to chop.
I buy these
Oh,
carrots
I do
chopped.
that too.
Yes, yes.
And then we need some garlic, a lot of garlic.
And then we need, and notice I haven't measured this. I just
It's a taste,
I just dumped.
you know.
So
It says 3.5 though, Kathy.
3.5. Okay, so then we'll put.
That's good. That's good.
There we go. Okay.
Oh my!
Yeah, the rest of the studio is going to be smelling.
It already smells. In the best possible
smells
way.
good, not
Yeah, the best possible way.
Whoops.
I walked out of the
Rolling away.
studio and came back in, and it was like, oh, what are they cooking? Then I remembered, I know what they're cooking.
Okay, so
We'll have lots of guests today. You know,
I
we
bet
sort
we
of
will.
gauge the success of a show by how many people show up to eat after it. But every show, everybody eats out everything. So.
well, hopefully they'll be ready for dinner this morning.
Oh, some kid told me one time they don't eat breakfast anymore. They work in the studio and they come. On Monday, they don't eat breakfast. They come and they eat whatever here.
Okay, so this will cook down until it's tender, and then I'm going to add a dash of olive oil, and I'm going to. Is that as high as it goes, Betty?
Yeah, it's much hotter than you think. No, I'm not being. It's a very controlled heat, and a lot of times people find out that it's burning and they don't want it to burn, but that's as high as it does go.
Plus, this is my favorite Calphalon pan, and you'll notice it's wide. This will hold 6 veal shanks. The recipe does call for 6 veal shanks.
You have 4.
I have 4.
But you have more. So.
But I have more than the dish that we've already prepared. I'm going to put the veal in here to brown it a bit.
Should we mention this is not a cheap dish to make, but it's well worth the effort if you like
And
veal.
notice the
like
veal's about 2.5 inches thick. So we're going to brown that on each side, and then basically throw the rest of our ingredients in, cover it, and cook it for about an hour and a half.
Tell us a story about cooking it last night in the slow cooker.
Well, one of the beauties, both the recipes I'm going to do today, I'm going to show you how you do them on the stove top, and again for the working family, or not necessarily the working family, for the busy chef, show you how to make the same recipe in the crock pot.
But you said the smell.
Yes, well, that's what I did last night. I started the recipe in the crock pot. And basically, you do this part of the recipe and then put it in the crock pot. I'm going to finish it on the stove today. But I got to this point last night, put it in the crock pot.
And had requests never to do that again.
Right.
They
It was
sleep all
cooking
night.
all night, and my husband said, please don't ever cook this again, because his stomach was growling all night. So keep that in mind. Although I've made this dish, I've started it in the morning when I leave for the office, and I get home 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the afternoon, and my dinner's ready.
Talking about offices, you changed jobs?
I
since
changed
you
jobs,
were
yes,
here,
yes,
about a
yes.
year and a half ago,
Now
I guess.
you recall when I was here the last time,
Yeah,
I remarked about the length of my title.
It's getting longer.
The title is getting longer. The titles get longer the older I get. I
Oh.
think that's the, okay.
What's your title now?
Director of Housing and Community Development for Montgomery County.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So,
I remember the end.
going to turn these over.
Oh, wow.
They're browned a little bit.
Maybe we can get the stove just over a little bit.
Okay, does that help?
Yeah. And I want to move the plastic.
Okay, all right. Now, as I said, after these browned a little bit on each side, this was the point I scraped everything into the crock pot and then added the rest of the ingredients. And the rest of the ingredients are,
Okay, you have the flour and the oil, you have that
Right,
done.
right.
You need a cup of white wine.
now I like red wine with my beef. And
Make that
this
red.
is a generous,
Do I have a
generous helping
I don't have red.
of
I'll have to change
red
it.
wine.
2½ cups of diced tomatoes and juice.
And I just used the 1 pound, was that 1 pound?
1 pound, 12 ounces.
I used the large can of tomatoes.
I love those diced tomatoes.
Pour those in. And then, smells good already.
Yeah.
doesn't it? And then add beef broth to cover.
You forgot the basil and parsley.
I'm coming back to that.
Well, I'm only reading what's on this,
Okay, so there you
your
have
recipe.
your veal shanks. This covered. Tuck that in there.
Oh.
A couple of other things. Now let me just see what I did with all of that. Oh, it's right here.
Oh, I
Okay,
moved them.
I already have chopped, again, last night while preparing for the show. I have Italian parsley and basil, fresh herbs. You can use dried, whatever. I
You have to
happen.
use more fresh than if
You
you
have to
dried.
use more fresh. That's correct.
A tablespoon?
About a half. I think half. If it's dried, you cut the amount in half.
I think a teaspoon of dry is a tablespoon of fresh. Something
that would be
close
a
to
third,
that
right?
calculation.
Okay, and then the other thing is these 3 strips of lemon peel.
It'd be 3.
Yes, 3. It says 3.
Wait, what's
It says
say?
2.
It
Okay,
says
so we're adding 3.
23.
It says 2, 3 by 1.5 inch.
Oh, does that mean 2 to 3?
No, it means 2,
Oh,
3
gotcha.
inch by half an inch.
Okay, got it.
So,
This
all right.
isn't too clear. It's not your, I mean, you know.
Yes, well, I make it often enough now, I just
Oh, that's
throw
right,
in.
you're an expert.
Well, I'm not an expert, I just throw
Oh,
in.
yeah. I mentioned earlier, seeing each other in the supermarket. I have to tell you this story. One night, it was like 7:30, I swear. I ran into Kathy and Jane Mosana, Musonye, who is the planner for the borough. And we stood there for 10, 20 minutes talking about what we're cooking, what we're eating. And all of a sudden, Jane says, I have to go, I have to make dinner. And she told us this menu of what she was going to make.
At 7 o'clock
At
in the
7
evening.
o'clock at night, she hasn't even gotten the stuff for it. And we figured she must have ate at midnight.
Sure.
Because she said she made it. I talked to her later, and
yep,
she made
yep,
it. And
yep.
she's a very fine cook. She was on my Downtown Kitchen show and made some wonderful chicken and with very little water and tomato. Oh, it was great.
Yes, she's a fabulous cook.
I have
All
to
right.
get her on
Do
here.
I see some salt over there?
Do you
I
think
can't get
so?
my salt over.
Sure. Just to make sure I don't get
Don't
hung up.
trip. Betty's going out of the camera now.
Betty trips a lot,
Can't get my pepper open either.
In the real way. You have pepper? Oh.
I have pepper, salt and pepper a little bit. I know you should do this when you finally test it, but let's add a dab of that. Now, we're going to trip over our cord. Cover this pot and let it simmer for an hour and a half.
School will be over by then.
Yes,
No,
well,
it's won't.
I'll
It's very
take this
early in the
home.
morning. You leave the foil on?
I'm leaving the I actually added the foil to the lid so that you get a good seal.
Oh, okay.
All right, you don't want a lot of this liquid. You turn it down and actually just let this go
You don't
for
check
an hour
this
and a
for
half.
an hour and a half?
Well, just to be on the safe side,
Oh,
I
that
check
it's
it.
not burning in
But the
there.
reason for the foil is so that you don't have any steam escaping. It makes a nice tight seal.
Okay.
Okay?
Why don't we move this over to the
All
other
right.
burner?
Let's do that. And actually, you probably don't even need that on.
Okay.
And what we have, Betty, let's turn this off for a moment.
Oh, you're getting good. You got the job.
Okay, here we have,
Risotto we're having?
well, but here we have the finished product.
Oh,
Do
you're
you
gonna
want me to,
show-
you want me to wait to show that
Yeah,
to the
let's
end?
do it all at
Okay,
once and-
all right. Okay,
But
now,
make sure they stay and keep watching the show.
that's right.
You want to see
Yes.
it done?
Stay
Continue to wa-
tuned.
Yes.
Okay, the next item we're going to make is risotto, which is an Italian rice dish. Can you start that?
Sure.
Risotto is another dish that actually takes quite a bit of time on the stove, but the key element of cooking risotto is it's not going to stay. You need to tend risotto for well, you just need to keep stirring and adding and stirring and adding. The beauty of a crock pot is you can put it in and let it go. Now, normally you don't think of risotto in a crock pot, but I have indeed tested it.
And it works?
And it does work. And so what I actually have here today is a completed osso buco and a completed risotto that we come home from work, and here's your dinner.
It's better than eating at midnight at Jane's.
That's right. So what I'm going to do is show you again how to make the risotto.
Oh, good. That's good.
From scratch. You can do this
Clear some of
on the
this away
stove
for
top.
you.
Okay. That's good. Thank you. And I'll bring the rest of the...
Aren't these throwaway plastic containers wonderful? You can use them again, but if you don't mind throwing them away.
Yep. So I'm going to bring another crock pot in here.
Do we need a plug?
Nope, because we'll cook
Oh,
this
you're gonna-
later.
Sure.
Yep. Okay, now, I do need a burner first thing because I want to saute my shallots or shallots.
Shallots. Your French onions.
That's right. Some
I love,
olive
I
oil.
have to say this
Oh, yes.
bottle. Not how you spell her name, it's how you say it. I think that's the only reason she ever bought the dressing once, because she thought it was
Who
her.
made the salad? Actually, this is my rosemary-infused olive oil.
You did that very well. Usually when you infuse flavors into oil, they get,
Yeah. You know how I infused this olive oil?
tell us,
In the crock pot.
in the crock pot.
I know.
Well, she's going to write a book, Crock Pot Cooking.
Many people beat me to that, but.
Well, there's a lot of cookbooks out there.
Yes, whoa.
A little hot, you need
It
a
is
pot
a little
holder,
hot.
don't burn yourself.
So, nope, that's not hot. All right. Saute the shallots.
I think the burner's a little,
Whoop. Make a mess all over the studio.
you know, you had to clean up the.
Oh, this isn't one of those cooking shows where people do all the cleaning up and
And
the
all the
chopping
prepping.
and all.
No, what you see is what you get. I came in with my bag lady cart, as I call it, full of stuff, and Kathy came in and had to get a cart from the department, and we
Well,
rode
you
up in
can
the
see.
elevator, and we're here, you know, we bring everything in and out. We have a couple of things, more things than when we were here the last time. I mean, we have, besides the burners, we now have electric frying pan
Yes,
and a
we
mix
have
master and
all of the
all
grown-up
kinds of pots
tools
and
with-
stuff, and I need to get a few other things.
Okay, so these are sauteing. Risotto is actually an arborio rice. And
It's teeny tiny rice.
yeah, it sort of also resembles tapioca. But one thing you need to do differently with this rice, and that is to coat it first with oil before
that.
you heat it. So I have the olive oil here in my
In the
shallots.
crock pot. we're doing.
Right in the crock pot. Now, if you were continuing this on the stove top, you would still do the same thing. Toss your rice in the oil and then begin adding your liquid a cup at a time. I'm not going to do that. It's all going into the pot now. So in goes a cup and a quarter. You're looking
Here, I'll
for the
take that.
recipe. Cup and a
I'll pull it
quarter
through the
of
collector.
rice, or boreal rice.
And you're coating everything.
Yep, stir it now so that the olive oil coats the rice.
You know, people should consider a little more of the slow cookers if they're working and stuff than they do, I think, because it's just easier to have your dinner when you get home, or
Yeah.
you're ready and you think, oh my, I have another hour to cook.
Yeah.
I'm gonna you
Well-
wind up eating poorly because you're just gonna have. I'm just gonna have a sandwich because
That's
I'm not.
right.
And so this way, all these wonderful foods can be done, even if you're not into veal. You can still make the asabuca. No,
Actually, you could, I've made this ossobuco dish with chicken thighs, boneless,
Ooh.
skinless chicken thighs. And it also has
did you tie
a
that
nice,
and all too?
nope, just threw those in the pot. But we must mention, it's not just for people that are working outside of their
No.
home.
Oh,
You know,
working in the house.
any person that really just doesn't want to stand on top of the stove all day or stand at the stove all day.
You know, when people working at home, sometimes it's tougher than going out to work because you have disturbances in the house. You have people calling you who think you can take them everywhere during the day because you're not at
You're not
work,
working,
you know?
yeah.
And I know my neighbor has trouble with that, and he's always getting calls. He went and got a job just so he wouldn't be bothered so much.
Okay, now, the liquids. Again, I have some white wine here, a very generous portion
Remember,
of white
the
wine.
wine always cooks off in the process.
That's right. And also, Betty, I never cook with a wine that I wouldn't drink.
Gotcha. You like that terrible bottle stuff that you
No,
buy in the
I don't
supermarket?
I don't buy the cooking wine in the grocery store. If you're gonna cook with it, it should be something that
And you can control the salt so much better with that than the cooking wine in the supermarket.
Okay, and then we need 3.
This is a big saver. The canned broth.
yeah. 3 cups of.
I notice how you're such an accurate
Yeah, notice how accurate I
measure.
am.
Yeah.
3 and
A half.
actually 3 3/4. So
Oh.
let's make it 4.
That wasn't 4. But I won't tell anybody.
That's a 2 cup.
I know. I
Oh.
see it.
All righty, and then I'm going to add some
Chives.
chives at the beginning
Is
of
there a
this.
stick in that chives?
Oh,
that.
there could be. There is. Thanks, Betty.
Well, I didn't want
Well, I'm
someone.
not. No, you know what it is? I think it's just.
A dead chive.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay. Stir that up. Put the lid on it.
Yeah.
Cook it for 2 hours. Now,
Do you
this.
test it in between?
If you're around.
Oh.
If not, I've put it on before and just let it go. This risotto that I started this morning, I got
I
up.
wonder if this would work with polenta. I love
Try it.
polenta. I'm going to have to try, but I don't have a big cooker. I only have a little one.
Well, as you can see, this isn't that.
Is this one of
full.
those types?
Yep,
Yeah.
it
Oh,
comes out.
if you're going to get one like that. It's just a lot easier to take care of than trying to clean this off after
Yes.
something has cooked over.
Well, I have borrowed this one from my neighbor because I only have 2 crock pots.
Only 2.
Only 2. But now with this,
Well, I'm going to
crock pot.
work on the polenta, and
Try-
I'll let you guys know if
Yep,
it works
there we
out.
go. Try
I
that the
love
next one.
polenta, but I do have one that you can put in the oven and you can't touch for an hour and a half or something, and then you stir it, and then you. But sometimes the stove gets really hot.
okay.
What do we have now?
Well, believe it or not, we've finished cooking our meals.
Oh, well, good. Let's eat.
Now, we have to finish off a few things.
Okay.
Okay? Let's go back for a moment to our osso buco. What did you do with those?
What?
Right here they are.
Pot holders.
Pot holders. Okay. This has been cooking all night. Now,
Ah.
doesn't that smell wonderful? This is one of my favorite dishes.
This
I
is
have
my
to say.
portion, this dish.
Now, what I would do at this point, and what this recipe calls for on the stovetop, is to pull the veal out, put it on a plate, tent it with aluminum foil, or we can use paper towels.
No, you want a plate like that?
Yeah. And then I take the liquid, put it on the stovetop, and then cook it down. We're not going to take the time to do that today. You cook the sauce down till it yields about 4 cups. And also remember, we've got to,
A spaghetti? Oh, no.
no, string.
Okay.
Take the twine out. Now we're going to go
Whoops, I keep
fishing
moving
here,
this table
hopefully.
today.
You're
Need a
gonna-
little lock on
We're going
it.
to be on the floor in a
Oh,
minute,
we
Betty.
make a nice mess. They would-
Okay.
Look at there's
Notice
the bone.
there's the
But serve
bone.
it with the bone.
Serve it with the bone, and if you have those little tiny forks, that bone marrow in there is so sweet.
My mother's
Absolutely
family
sweet.
all likes the marrow. What they do is, if they have stew or something, they get it out and put it on bread
Uh-huh.
and smear it on the
uh-huh.
bread, and and sit
It
there and eat
is-
it like. Oh,
Let's
you went
borrow
there?
this, yeah.
Sure.
Just remember, the lemon peels have to come out. That looks like a
Here's one.
carrot.
Is that one over there? No.
Actually, those are the carrots.
You can fish forever.
Yes, you have to start fishing now. My veal did fall apart.
Well, that's good. It means it's
Oh.
tender. We cooked it all night.
This is so tender. The veal shanks are actually one of the tougher cuts of meat, but by cooking it low and slow, something I'm really not good at. I'm a fast and furious, fast and hot. Low and slow, and the meat gets nice and tender.
The funny is
Almost
that it's
this
the
one stayed
toughest, and
together.
it's
Here we go.
surprisingly the most expensive cut of
Right.
veal.
And we won't talk about baby cows, but I know some people won't eat, don't like this.
Shh, you mentioned it.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, this thing is absolutely, do we need this anymore?
No, we don't.
Let me get rid
Oops.
of this here.
So I obviously didn't tie this enough. Just make sure you get all of these little strings out.
Oh, look at this. This is wonderful.
Those are actually carrots. I hear snickering over here. On camera.
Okay.
3.
Let's pretend we got it all out.
Okay, it is all out. Okay, and this is the liquid that you would just cook down, and then spoon some of it over the meat, preferably with a spoon.
And
This
I don't
also
eat
is
veal.
another one of my favorite gadgets.
Oh, aren't they wonderful?
Mm-hmm.
They're
My
like an
husband
extension of
calls
your
them
hand.
My toys. You
This
like
is
that?
wonderful.
You like that?
So wonderful. I don't eat
Pretend this is thick.
veal because of the normal reasons, and not because I don't like it, but I think I could be talked into eating a meal of this.
Whoops.
What do we have next so we can?
Okay, now I'm going to show you the finished risotto, and I'm going to hope that it is. We don't want that there,
We don't
do
want
we?
it here. Kathy came with her kitchen, I swear. I'm not putting her down for it. It was wonderful. Oh, we just have.
Okay. Now,
Do you put that in a dish or?
the thing about risotto is you have to serve it hot.
Is that hot?
That's
Yeah, I
hot.
see steam coming off of it.
And notice how it gets nice and creamy. I'm not quite done with it yet. Now that
You know
it's
what? I've seen where they take like a tuna fish can or a ring. You can buy a ring. I
oh, and
think.
make risotto cakes.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then you fill it with that and then knock it out and you have a nice little perfect.
well, we could do that.
We could do that, couldn't we? I
Okay.
don't think we have time.
I forgot one other little thing that, and I always do this when I'm serving it to my guests too. I invariably forget this. It's called gremolata, Gremolata, I think. It's a mixture of grated lemon peel, garlic, and fresh Italian parsley. How you grate the lemon peel? What would I do with all my toys here? Here it is.
We going to
See
need
a
a
lemon?
dish for this?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Actually. You just take the lemon peel off down to the white. You don't go through to the white because it gets bitter. And that smells good too.
Oh, yeah.
So this Mix up the garlic, the Italian parsley.
You cook like this every night?
No, but we're having those leftovers tonight.
Oh, I'll be
And then just,
Kathy and I have to attend the same meeting this afternoon. I'll just go home with you,
you
Kathy.
might just go home with you. We both serve on the library board.
No, I'm not on the board.
Oh,
I'm the
I-
administrative assistant
we-
at the library. She's on the
We
board.
both serve the library, let's
That's
put it
good.
that way.
That's good.
So that's the gremolata, a little snappy mixture. And
Ah.
that just adds a whole other dimension.
And what are we doing with this?
With the risotto, I'm going to add a few more. You just can add your favorite fresh herbs. I'm going to put a few more sprinkles of Italian parsley in there, Parmesan cheese, and the ingredients or the measurements we'll put in the recipes if anyone wants to call
Yeah,
in.
Kathy's going to share this recipe with us. And this is the winner. I mean, they're all winners we've had on the show.
And then
But this one is a real winner.
another one of my favorites is mushrooms.
Okay.
Wild mushrooms. These are shiitake. I just sauteed them a bit last night.
Do we
chop
need
them up.
something to put that in?
Well, how about another serving
Okay.
plate?
Since it's so white, I'll give a little color.
There you go.
Excuse me.
Now, and actually, risotto it's classic to serve that with osso buco. And since you have your red and your green and your sort
This
of
is white.
brown, this is white. I always serve either green beans or peas with it. All right. Actually, we can probably plate the whole thing. Probably this should be served in a bowl so that it retains
Yeah, I
the
don't-
heat.
We don't have a bowl.
Well, that's okay.
We're going to get a bowl.
This is,
That's the next thing. We have a bowl, but it's plastic. And I would never serve in plastic. You have no idea. I have such an aversion to that.
okay.
Listen, I think you've done a wonderful job today. And you can come back anytime. Her first time she did a chocolate cake that everybody loved. That was
Well,
to die
this would
for.
be great with the
Oh.
chocolate cake finish, wouldn't it?
Yeah, oh, it would really make you well beyond. I don't have words to describe what this would be like with that chocolate cake. The chocolate cake is wonderful.
Wouldn't it
So
be?
try that. So we're going to have to go, basically because we have to eat, not anything to do with the time of the show. And, Kathy, before
These
you
students are all
go,
looking forward to eating. Have you told everybody all of these wonderful young people behind the cameras?
there are, we talk about them there.
I think this
Stay
is
and watch the
great.
credits at the end, people. It's well worth it. And you may know who's running the cameras or who's on the crew. It's really thing. And I have for you a copy of my latest cookbook, Three
Oh,
Cups of
wonderful.
Yesterday. So you brought all of this stuff, and I'll give you my
Oh,
book in
thanks
place
so
of it.
much.
And
Thank
I think
you.
you'll enjoy that. And if anyone wants that book, it is available. So watch the graphic at the end. I've been getting a fair amount of calls from people from that graphic, or people writing in, and it's not necessarily just wanting recipes. They have questions that are like a little strange, but it's okay.
all right. It's all right.
It's all right. It means they're watching. So this is Bette Banjack and Kathy Phifer, and see you later. Bye now.
Bye.